On today's episode of the Cryptoverse. Now today I've opted to go deeper into one story rather than going broad over many. Now the story I think is worth going a bit deeper into is this Ethereum based WBTC token, which is going to be fully backed by Bitcoin, and I think this might have wider implications for the economic model of Ethereum. So let's get into that. And also remember, if you're new around here and you want to earn cryptocurrency rewards for watching the show and getting rid of ads at the same time, head over to the website, thecryptoverse.show, click on that big blue button in the top right hand corner that says get paid to watch, and then I'll explain exactly how that works. For now though, let's get into the video. So BitGo announces that it will launch a Bitcoin-backed Ethereum token in January of 2019, which is next coming January. So you can find this on BitGo's own Medium blog, introducing WBTC, the power of Bitcoin with the flexibility of ERC20, which is the most popular token standard on the Ethereum network. Now this is not the same as the eBitcoin token that was created on Ethereum a little while ago. I think it was last year. I didn't take that eBitcoin seriously at the time, and if we look on CoinMarketCap right now, the state of eBitcoin, it is still around, but an eBitcoin is priced at 4 cents, and the last 24 hours, the trading volume has been less than $2,000. Now this new project, WBTC, which is wrapped Bitcoin, this will be a way of locking Bitcoin on the Bitcoin network in order to be issued with WBTC, which will be a token on the Ethereum network. And it will function just like any other ERC20 token. You can store it in any ERC20 compatible wallet, protect it with your Ledger Nano S, use it with mycrypto.com, and so on. Now the simplest reason that for using this would be sending Bitcoin transactions, right? Theoretically, it should be faster and cheaper than doing on the Bitcoin network because it's an Ethereum transaction. So technically 15-second confirmations and technically lower fees. So this effectively turns Ethereum into a Bitcoin sidechain, kind of like Rootstock, which is another project that I'm really enthusiastic about. The more sophisticated reasons to use this WBTC token would be so you can use Bitcoin as the default currency inside Ethereum-based decentralized applications. So my first thought was Augur and how WBTC would allow the whole platform to be wagered in Bitcoin. I think that would be huge. Similarly, decentralized exchanges on Ethereum could have the WBTC token as the base currency that everything trades against. The benefit of all this is that you've already got the massive liquidity of Bitcoin being ported over to Ethereum, increasing the liquidity for all of those people. This also makes it much simpler for ICOs to raise money in Bitcoin, since everything can now be done on the Ethereum network, including both the collection of funds and the issuing of the ICO token. You don't have to worry about running a Bitcoin node and an Ethereum node, or a node for every currency you want to create. You just do it on Ethereum, accept WBTC, and you're golden. There are many more use cases, but I think that's enough for now. You get the idea, right? If that trend were to continue, where WBTC becomes the currency that is used by the Ethereum ecosystem, it would start moving Ethereum towards a 2-token network. Now, I'm going to take it to the extreme here, so just bear with me. So WBTC would be the currency coin in that 2-token system, which is what it's designed to be. Bitcoin is designed to be a currency. And then ETH would be the gas to pay network transaction fees, which is what it was designed for. Now, in a world like that, WBTC would take away demand from anyone who is currently buying and using ETH as a currency. So going back to my 2 examples there, right now on Augur, the wagers are happening in ETH, and ICOs largely accept ETH as a currency to raise money. Now, I'm suggesting that Bitcoin is a superior currency for that, so it's sort of supplanting ETH as a currency in its own ecosystem. In that world, the only reason then to buy and hold ETH would be to pay transaction fees, since it would return to being a true utility token. The only use for ETH then would be to burn it as gas to power transactions on the network, since WBTC is then the actual currency being used. I think that would lead most people to hold much less ETH than they do today. I certainly would. You'd only need enough to cover your sort of day-to-day transaction costs rather than holding it to spend as a currency. But like I said, this is highly speculative on my part. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. I just painted that picture as one way I could see it panning out, right? But let's get some perspective here. This has only just been announced, right? And from what I've read, this is not set to even launch until January of 2019 anyway, and there's every chance that it will be delayed and get pushed back, so no need to panic. There is one other important detail here that I need to share. This really got my attention, and I think it needs highlighting. I'm going to refer back to the blog post here with the official announcement. This is what got my attention, and I had to highlight it. So let me just read it. It says, BitGo will provide custody of the Bitcoin and tokenize it by minting WBTC together with approval from community members. It's an exciting opportunity for us to build on our mission, making digital currencies usable for business. It's really that first bit that really got my attention. This sounds to me like WBTC will work like most of the dollar stablecoins that are all the rage these days. When they say BitGo will provide custody of the Bitcoin, well, that sounds like when the Gemini exchange has the US dollars in their bank account, and then they issue you and I with an Ethereum-based token, which effectively acts as a receipt and a claim check on that deposit. The big difference with WBTC and fiat stablecoins is that there is no need for trusted auditors, since everything can be reconciled on public records on the Ethereum blockchain and on the Bitcoin blockchain, so that makes WBTC superior in that regard. One feature of the WBTC that will put off a certain segment of the cryptocurrency community, in my opinion, is the need to go through or perform know your customer and anti-money laundering identity checks. They have to be done on people using the system. So this is detailed by the official website. If you look at wbtc.network, you'll see that they talk about know your customer and anti-money laundering procedures that you have to go through when receiving these wrapped Bitcoins or when burning them to get your Bitcoin back. I can imagine that being unpopular due to the high value that the cryptocurrency community places on privacy of personal information. The white paper for WBTC also quotes a 48-hour timescale for getting your Bitcoin in and out of the WBTC system, which is because most of the Bitcoin is going to be held in cold storage. So it takes time to, for a person to get it out, sign that transaction, and then release it. Again, getting some perspective here. It's not as if this is going to be proposed as the be-all and end-all of the Ethereum network. It's not as if this is going to take over the whole system, right? It's just another innovative idea from one of the actors in the ecosystem, which will compete with all the alternatives that are available, right? And as always, each individual within the free market will decide which of the tools to use based on their own personal preferences. Exactly the way it should be in the free market. Right, so let's draw a hard line there and reset your brain, because I do have another story to talk about, which is, it has some similarities with the first story. So there's this new protocol coming to EOS, which will effectively allow you to teleport tokens from Ethereum to EOS. So like we've just spoken about, locking up your Bitcoin to issue an equivalent on the Ethereum network, this is like locking Ethereum tokens to have the equivalent on the EOS network. Now, bottom line, this is going to boost the fundamentals for EOS. And this is detailed in a Steemit post by Shios. So I'll post a link to this down in the old video description. Now what this does, it offers the opportunity for any Ethereum token issuer to move over to the EOS platform and take advantage of its much greater speed and the free transactions that EOS allows. So this is being developed by Shios, and EOS-based block producer, and they're calling this the EOS 21 protocol. So for example, one of the most popular ERC20 tokens on Ethereum is, say, the Binance token, the BNB token. Let's say if Binance wanted to move its BNB token from Ethereum to EOS. You would send your BNB tokens to a black hole contract on the Ethereum network so that it could be provably destroyed, and then the EOS contract would detect that had happened, and then it would issue you with the equivalent number of tokens, effectively teleporting the tokens from one blockchain to another, destroying them on Ethereum, putting them into the black hole, and then they would pop out in a in a wormhole on EOS as the equivalent, right? Now this is under development, so I'm going to keep my eye on this. It's interesting, isn't it? What's even more interesting, and the reason why I spoke about this on the tail end of the WBTC story, is because, well, you can imagine a world where instead of the WBTC like being locked up on Bitcoin and then being issued on Ethereum, there is absolutely no reason why BitGo couldn't do exactly the same thing on EOS, right? Providing custodial services, having you send your Bitcoin to a EOS contract, and then having, let's call it EBTC, right? EOS Bitcoin, EOS wrapped Bitcoin on the EOS network, right? So that's just, I thought it was an interesting exploratory article there, which is interesting in its own right, but was relevant on the tail end of the WBTC story. And just by way of disclosure, EOS is my personal second largest crypto holding after Bitcoin. So there we jolly well go. That is all I've got for you today. So if you liked this episode, please go ahead and hit the like button. If you disliked it, well, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback, and I would very much appreciate it if you would get subscribed. And also be sure to check out my online store, where you'll find a whole bunch of products bearing the Cryptoverse branding. I very much appreciate it because your purchase helps to keep this channel going. Other than that, I'll be back with the next episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.